Hi, how's it going? Oh, wait, sorry. Yo, yo, yo.
Yo,
Yo.
yo's for everybody.
Yo's for everybody.
Yo, welcome to My Summer Lair. I'm your host, Sammy. I don't do anything for 20 because 20 doesn't do anything for me. Younan. Extremely Unique Dynamic is an Asian stoner comedy. The stoner comedy is a reliable movie genre. I really dig it. It's a lot more fun than rom-coms often. Meet Daniel and Ryan, two best friends who moved to LA to make it big in show business. But a decade later, neither one is a crazy rich Asian or even famous. And now Ryan is moving with his fiancée to Edmonton, Alberta. And Daniel feels this is a big turning point that deserves commemoration. So they decide to shoot a movie over the weekend, their last weekend, to commemorate their friendship. This sounds half-baked already. To make a movie means they need a plot. It can't just be about two Asian guys going to White Castle. Nobody will watch that. So how about a movie about two guys, Greg and Tim, making a movie? And what will their movie be about? Well, how about two guys named Jasper and Jake making a movie? It's all meta, as in meta confusing. But they feel this is a showcase for their extremely unique dynamic. I struggle with meta, like a turtle on its back. Extremely Unique Dynamic is written, directed, and stars Ivan Leung and Harrison Shu as Daniel and Ryan and Greg and Tim and Jasper and Jake. I know. Are you following any of this? Trust me, it all left me dazed and confused as well. The conversation with Ivan and Harrison talks about Extremely Unique Dynamic having its international premiere at the 2024 Inside Out Film Festival, but it also covers, ready for this? This is a weird list. But it also covers Winnie-the-Pooh, Blood and Honey. Yes, that recent horror movie. I think there's a second or a third one on the way. I'm not even sure. Adidas tracksuits. How Asian fame, yes, Asian fame is different than white people fame or white fame. And as if that all wasn't enough, we gotta talk about poutine. Oh, and lastly, the 2000 movie. The movie from 2000. Dude, Where's My Car? Does that hold up? Does Dude, Where's My Car hold up? Stephanie, I know where my car is, but where's my introduction?
Sound, the final frontier. My Summer Lair is an enterprise, a pop culture voyage with a continuing mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new creators and celebrate established producers, to boldly go where no podcast has gone before. And now here is your host, Sammy Younan.
Do you have any questions for me, or can we get into your extremely unique dynamic?
Let's try it, man.
Let's go in, yeah.
All right. This is going to be an audio podcast, and the movie, Extremely Unique Dynamic, it opens with a Google autocomplete search. And one of the autocomplete suggestions is, can people tell Asian guys apart? So I guess, as I said, this is audio, so I want people to tell the two Asian dudes apart. So can you introduce yourselves? Listeners can then hear your voice, but then also share a favorite stoner movie. You mentioned a bunch in the movie itself, so that should be easy.
Cool. Well, my name is Ivan. I am the one with the adorable cheeks and a great voice that has more of a raspy tone.
Mm-hmm.
And my favorite stoner movie is probably Harold and Kumar.
Solid choice, yeah.
I'm Harrison. I am the dude with the spikier hair and the less good-looking one between the two. And
Everybody has a brand.
Yeah, everyone has a brand. And my favorite stoner movie of all time is Pineapple Express.
Oh, I just rewatched Pineapple Express. It holds up. It's a lot of fun.
It's a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
Harold and Kumar also holds up, but it'll be cancelable now. Can it be?
Yeah, it's the same thing with Tropic Thunder, for example, right? We're there's a bit too many jokes in there. We're no, you can't do that anymore now, right? It's funny because at the time it was acceptable, so you move the comedy envelope forward, but then as time evolves, the comedy line of what you can or can't say goes back. It's kind of funny how comedy takes one step, two steps back.
I know. Well, but Dude, Where's My Car was so fun too.
I haven't seen Dude Where's My Car in like years. Does that hold up too? In the same way that Harold and Kumar and Tropic Thunder hold up and like Pineapple
Well,
Express?
I just saw a YouTube video of them just going, dude, 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 and that's all I remember.
Okay. I think you just also, that was a spoiler alert too, right? Like,
Oh, so sorry guys, spoiler alert.
but this idea of you watching this montage of dude, like, Ivan, this kind of sums up your expression and your attitude, I guess, in an extremely unique dynamic as you try to understand the meta levels in this movie. So, from a marketing perspective, what is extremely unique dynamic about?
Are you talking to me about marketing? I'm the one?
Either one of you, if you want to like break it down of what it's about. I mean,
All right, let's
I agree with you in terms of Ivan, like in terms of the meta. I often get confused with meta as well, so I'm with you. But for the audience right now, like, what is, from the marketing perspective, what is extremely unique dynamic about?
Well, it's a meta stoner Asian bro queer coming of age comedy about two Asian guys making a movie about two Asian guys making a movie about two Asian guys. And they're kind of stoned and there's a lot of friendship and like crying and a lot of things and Harrison, you take it away.
No, that's great. Like in the movie, my character is a film marketer, and that's very meta because I, in real life, am also a film marketer. So in the movie, my character is often explaining what meta means, and Ivan's character doesn't understand what any of it means, and he in real life also doesn't understand what any of it means. So it works out great.
Mm-hmm. I can't believe Dick Van Dyke didn't want to do this movie.
I know. I literally called Dick. No, I called Dick's agent, and I was like, "Hey, would he be interested?" I just saw him on The Masked Singer, and he's awesome. And then he was like, sorry, I don't think Dick would be interested."
Was it the meta, you think? That was the... I'm sure he would have been fine with the stoner comedy, but you think the meta was just a bridge too far for him?
It might be our Maverick no budget filmmaking style that would have taken it too far.
Ah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I could see that.
I mean, after doing a hit big show like Masked Singer, then I don't know. He might just be too big for us.
that's that's always a good sign, yeah. So this idea of the Maverick low budget filmmaking, Harrison, you worked on Winnie-the-Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Yeah. Ivan also did. I brought him on board to help with the marketing campaign. So he and I basically ran the entire digital campaign together.
Mm-hmm. Which involved, I guess, what, like Pooh posting online?
Yep, lots of poo posting, lots of trolling people. Because when the movie first was announced and the first poster came out, there was a lot of flack on Reddit, in particular. But it got a ton of awareness. Everyone knew about it. And one of the most fun parts about the movie and working on the campaign was shifting people's perception of the film into something that was so hateable, into something that was so hateable that you had to watch it in theaters, and also like shift the perception that people actually thought it was a funny movie. So yeah, it was a super fun marketing campaign and actually led us to making our movie.
What was the path for that? Like, so you're working on Winnie-the-Pooh and you're kind of advocating for Winnie-the-Pooh. It's a good horror film. Please check it out. How'd you get then from there to like making a Asian stoner comedy?
So so from our social posting, we took on this comedic tone of voice because we didn't want anyone to take the movie too seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And by doing that, we were like, wait, I think we're funny together. Like, let's make a no budget comedy movie. Because we also saw that Winnie the Pooh was made for a very low budget, made a lot of money. Not to say that we would make a ton of money from this, but we saw that they were able to make such a great production with such little budget. So we wanted to replicate that, but also infuse our brand of comedy into it. So that's a big part of how it started. And the Winnie the Pooh campaign ended like in February, and like the next week we already started writing the script for our movie.
And Harrison, you talk about shifting perception for Winnie the Pooh, but for this one, like, there's a lot of improv and a lot of scenes where you guys are just kind of flying by the seat of your pants. I know you had this like outline that you're working with, but like, was there ever like a, I guess I don't know how to phrase it, like a stereotype alarm? Stereotypes are funny. That's why they work in comedy. But I can see how you didn't want to make like a movie where like Asian dudes are good at math, for example, right? So Was there ever like, as you're kind of shifting this perception of how Asian people are viewed, or in a stoner comedy, was there ever like a stereotype alarm?
I
For
don't
me,
think so. Oh,
no.
hey, he said Harrison Ivan, but you can
Oh,
answer.
sorry.
You can answer it. Go ahead.
No, no, go.
No, go, go.
I'm not the stereotypical Asian guy. Like when I was in school, I didn't even get to calculus. Like I was probably really bad at geometry too. So like I didn't really have to like play into the math stereotypes.
Hmm.
But I bet Harrison probably was in AP calculus or something like that.
I was.
Okay, there you go.
Oh wow.
And so, was there a danger then of like reinforcing any of those Asian stereotypes, or did you like want to stay away from them in terms of the
Well,
improv?
I think what we actually did was we tackled it head on. Like we did talk about all these Asian stereotypes of, you know, as actors, when we first started in the industry, everything was super nerdy, super charactery, or like martial artists, and then like it swung completely in the other direction of like super muscular, hunky leading men. And in the movie, because we were making a movie about two characters making a movie, we were able to talk about all these things head on in a way that didn't seem hopefully too on the nose because it was meant to be on the nose. So I think with some of these stereotypes, we actually like purposely try to talk about them in a way that was palatable for audiences.
And this is a movie about two Asian best friends, like who crave fame and stardom. Is Asian fame the same thing as white fame? You know, like white people, like they praise when they like have the OD and like the Hollywood Walk of Fame star. Like these kind of things are traditionally like white famous. Is Asian famous the same thing? Like you guys have the same cravings in like in terms of stardom?
My cravings of Asian fame is stability. My cravings of Asian fame is getting a house, not worrying about rent, and if I see a quarter on the floor at a Whole Foods, just like Ali Wong, I just say, "Oh, cool, that's a quarter," and just walk away.
All right, there's a very simple man in complex times. What about you, Harrison?
I feel like Asian fame is complicated because growing up, I was always taught to have a low profile, and also like stay humble. And I feel like I don't know, Asian fame's kind of an oxymoron because it's like like how like what does that exactly mean, and like how do you embrace it? But I feel like it's a lot more. I don't know, like low key. I think it's more just like Ivan said, like stability in the work, like getting consistent work and like getting recognized for your talents without being too flashy.
Both of you, the way you describe Asian fame, it almost sounds like a middle class existence, right? Where like
Yeah,
you can still
the
go
blue
do a
collar
movie.
fame.
Yeah, you can still go do a movie or a sitcom or something, and then on Saturdays you mow the lawn, Sundays you take a nap, you're paying the mortgage, you can like feed children if you have them. Like it's a very middle class existence. It's not necessarily like Hollywood famous.
Yeah, Asian fame is getting a Le Creuset or a stove, and making some sourdough in the oven. That would be just the life for me.
All right, that's cool. We're learning. So let's keep going then. Like for you, Ivan, an extremely unique dynamic. You display your rap skills. Was your
hmm
quest to be initially was your quest to be a rapper or to be an actor?
My initial quest was to be a dancer, and then I just found out that I just had a passion for it, but I just was not good enough for it, and like I just could not make any money off of it. And then some person said, "Hey, you should try acting." And then after I got that permission from someone, I just really just went full straightforward. The rapping was just like just an extra talent that I had, just during COVID, being really hungry because I was stoned and I was on like a 5-day water mimicking diet.
Hmm. So as everyone was during COVID, during the lockdown, so as everyone was like learning different languages or reading like classic books, you were learning how to like rap.
Yeah, I was just stoned and just really hungry, and I was just surrounded by taco trucks around my area, and a song just came out.
Circling back to Asian fame, like having Taco Tuesday like every day almost, would that be part of Asian fame?
No, because I could afford that right now. I'm also from San Diego, so tacos are very, very part of my childhood.
Hmm.
But I think it's a Taco Tuesday mentality where like everything's always a deal when you have that much money.
I love a good deal.
That works, yeah. And then Harrison, for you, once again, you need to be smart to make a stoner comedy, right? So you were going to USC in
Hmm.
LA for a while. So how did you end up becoming an actor?
Oh, well, I actually started acting when I was 15 in Vancouver. I was in a business class actually, and I had to interview an entrepreneur. And so I interviewed a talent agent, and I was asking him about how to be a talent agent, and all these questions led to him being like, I think you actually want to be an actor. So then he showed me the ropes and how to get an agent and get into a class and get headshots and all that. So then, yeah, that's how I got into it.
And what was the goal with going to USC? Like, were you hoping then to, like, again, that the Asian fame and just having a stable middle class in life, or were you hoping for Asian fame?
You wanted the prestige.
Um, yeah, well, I actually I did acting for 3 years in high school, and then I went to USC because I wanted to be an agent. So then I did this program that was specific to business and film, where a lot of people go into agencies or production. And then after I graduated, I still acted throughout college, but after I graduated, I worked at a talent agency, and I lasted for 5 weeks. I realized that it wasn't for me. I didn't enjoy the work that much, and I still had a passion for acting. And you can't do both. Like you can't be an agent and an actor. So then I quit, and then I got into film marketing. Took a few years off acting, and then once I got far enough in my career, I started acting again, and now I'm able to do both.
To circle back to extremely unique dynamic, you guys are writers, directors, and actors on this project. So obviously very indie film. How did you feel about taking on those new roles and responsibilities? Because with acting, it's kind of nice, right? You just kind of show up, you deliver your lines. You don't have to worry about the lighting. You don't have to worry about like coverage, anything like that, right? You have a lot less responsibilities. So you can show up, deliver your lines, and kind of take a nap. How did you feel about taking on these extra roles and responsibilities as directors and like writers and even producers?
I think one of the things that we didn't realize was how hard making a movie was. And I'd say that from the point of mostly being a producer because, we started this process in February of last year, and it's been over a year, and it's basically consumed our lives for better or for worse. Because as a producer and as a creator of something, like it's basically your baby, and you see it through every step of the process. So when we started filming, we were working, pretty much from like 6 a.m. to 3 a.m. every night. And then now, like, we still work on this film every day. So it's basically a full-time job. And there's so much to producing that we didn't realize when we got into it. And, we have one other producer on the project, Noel Domurakami, who was amazing and helped us out a lot. And I think now we have a much greater appreciation for filmmaking and all the different people that are involved in it.
Yeah, because when you go to like a Marvel movie, you get those line of credits for like 5 minutes, right? And everyone's just waiting for like the Samuel Jackson scene or whatever it is. And so you don't realize, or at least the general public doesn't realize, like how much of these people are integral to like making a movie, right? Like, and that's with like a major budget and all those things. So you can assign different departments and different roles. With indie filmmaking, it's all up to you. Like, there's a scene where like Ivan's like, I want to wear this shirt, right? I want to have a montage where I wear different shirts, right? And it's like you got to figure out budget for like the shirts and the clothing, whatever, right? You figure out what you can wear. There's another scene where like Harrison's like, let's find a good location, and then they just basically go outside, right? Like it's all up to you to figure it out. What about for you, Ivan? How did you find the different roles and responsibilities?
Yeah, I had no idea how hard it was to make a movie. Like, I worked on a movie with Noel, our other producer, for this movie called Skill House. So, and we got close. And when we were thinking about making this movie, I called Noel and I asked, "Hey, is making a movie hard?" And he said, "Yeah." And then I said, "Hey, do you want to do this with us?" And he said, "Sure." And with Michael, I was in a hot tub and I was looking at editors. I found Michael's website and I was like, oh, what a cool website. And he had his phone number on his website. So I called him and was like, hey, would you like to edit a feature film? And he said, yeah, yeah, sure, sure. And then we got in touch and those parts were easy, but everything else with the producing stuff and like I mean, doing everything else. It was much harder than I thought it was going to be. I knew it was going to be hard, but I didn't think it was going to be that hard.
Hmm.
But it was super fun and fulfilling. Yeah, I've never felt so fulfilled in my whole life.
Is there then a hunger to do another film or even a sequel to Extremely Unique Dynamic, like to do a similar style?
I'm starving. I'm totally down to do more.
Harrison doesn't seem so keen. You get
So no, yeah, I no,
the
I am.
experience burned you out.
Okay, so it's really hard to think about your next project when you're still in the thick of this project. But
Mhm.
yes, like absolutely would love to. Like we've been talking about maybe like spinning this off into a TV series or like doing another movie that still got comedy in it, like a horror comedy, for example.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's like it's so hard because it's like with this movie, we're just, starting our festival run, like Inside Out's our third festival that we're playing at. So we're still very much in the thick of it. So it's hard to like be fully creative when you're
Mhm. Still in a
really
marketing
doing everything.
perspective.
Yeah, like I'm still in marketing land right now. And it's nice like when you're a director or writer and you have a team of producers that's able to handle the movie for you when you're done and you can work on your next project. But because we are the team, like we're constantly thinking about marketing the movie, like what we're gonna do with distribution. So it's really hard to like be fully stepped away and just be creative.
Which again is what I was asking about because like those roles and responsibilities haven't like stopped, right? Just because you finished making the movie doesn't mean like you can go like the same thing as an actor. Just go take a nap now. Just let me know when my next scene is, right? And where put the tape on the floor. Those are my marks, my cues. I'm good. Like I know what to do. Like the roles and responsibilities, they don't unfortunately end, which is good and bad.
Yeah. And as Ivan mentioned too, it's like there's something really nice and fulfilling about making a movie. Because for us, we're primarily actors. Like you said, you learn your lines, you show up on set, and then you can go home and take a nap. And then like you'll see the project when it's out next year. And for this, it's like it lives with us. Like, we're doing everything for the film all the time. And whatever happens with the movie, it's on us. So there's something really thrilling about that too, where it's like we control our own destiny and we're able to really shepherd this project through from start to finish.
And you guys will be coming to Toronto for Inside Out.
We're so excited. I've never been to Toronto before. I'm so excited to eat all the Toronto food.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited to see the Niagara Falls. I heard that what was the really popular thing in Toronto again that everyone should have?
Oh, poutine.
Yes. Oh, I'm so excited for some poutine.
Okay. Are you
But
gonna
then
do like classic poutine, or are you gonna get like pulled pork poutine?
I have no idea. I just every time I say it, Harrison looks at me as like, "Oh, well, you can get poutine anywhere." And I'm like, "No, you can't get poutine everywhere. You can get poutine in Toronto."
You can get poutine anywhere in Canada.
Yeah,
For Toronto, poutine is really good. Okay, Harrison?
it's true. And it's weird because like when you go to America, like especially places like LA and New York City, it's hard to get good gravy. So you don't get a lot of poutine. And it's really weird because like Americans love their sauces and dipping and all kinds of stuff, but for some reason gravy's very like rationed out.
I thought it was the cheese curds that made the poutine special
You need good
because you can get what?
you need
Really?
good gravy too. Yeah, you can't have too watery gravy. Like you need to have a certain level of thickness. So there's a technique to the gravy as well.
I pretended to have poutine when I got fries and then like I put gravy all over my KFC. It's not the same.
No, was it satisfying though?
I thought it was satisfying, but I've never had real poutine before, so it might be very disappointing after have it in Canada.
Fair enough. We'll have to have a follow up discussion. But when you guys come for Inside Out, like for one of the premieres for Extremely Unique Dynamic, you wore matching Adidas tracksuits.
So cool.
Yeah, Ivan, you were in the yellow, and Harrison was in a green one. Can we expect a similar tracksuits outfit when you guys come to Toronto? Maybe with a little bit of gravy stains on them, I guess. Now.
Look, you have no idea how much of a headache it is to dress Harrison. He does not want to do anything. Oh, can I talk about the tracksuits a little bit?
Yeah, I brought it up. Go for it.
The tracksuit was inspired by Dude Where's My Car with the red and blue tracksuits. But instead of the because Dude Where's My Car's writer is Harold and Kumar's writer, and instead of red and blue, I picked yellow for Kill Bill and Bruce Lee, and then for Harrison, he had green for Squid Game. So it was all Asian stuff and Asian stoner like references all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
For Canada, um, well, I have an idea of wearing Canadian tuxedos, but Harrison keeps being very, very hard to work with, and I always try to like figure out the outfits beforehand, but like Harrison always like, oh no, let's just do it there. And it's so annoying.
Yeah, it's because I bought Flair Airlines where I don't get a bag, so I'm just gonna buy it in Canada. It'll save me a bag going away.
Oh my god.
But from a marketing perspective, Harrison, wouldn't matching tracksuits be effective and kind of help you stand out as filmmakers?
See? See?
Sure. Yeah, no, it was great at the other festival, but I feel like we've set a precedent now for every festival to have some sort of matching attire.
Mm-hmm.
So it's either we go the tracksuits for everything, or we go with a matching outfit for every festival with a different theme. So if we do Canadian tuxedos, we would have like matching Canadian tuxedos.
Okay.
This is the part. Yes, because every time he just throws like, like a fit about going to try this, going to try that. And after he puts it on, everyone gives him compliments and he's like, "Oh yeah, this is awesome." Typical man.
Yeah, and like I said, from a marketing perspective, it works, right? Because it gives you a certain style and makes you stand out. Like, I
Yeah,
don't.
he's the one in marketing.
Yeah, so I'm not really sure where Harrison's reluctance comes from.
It's from the Asian fame because the fame makes you all flashy, but then the Asian is like the way I dress is like Mark Zuckerberg, where I just wear like the same shirt and pants, sweats
Mm-hmm.
every day.
Tracksuits, man. They're tracksuits. It's just tracksuits. It's not flashy at all.
Mm-hmm. Is it a struggle to like almost a cultural struggle to like acting and to do these kind of things and stand out? Where, like you said, sometimes the Asian kind of mentalities to like blend in or not stick out too much. Sometimes with like certain like achievements, you want to celebrate them and you want to like win a math competition or spelling bee or something like that. But at the same time, you don't want to stand out too much from the crowd. So is it kind of difficult, I guess, going against the grain culturally in terms of like Asian fame again?
A little bit, I think so, because like one example is I didn't talk about my job. I was a consistently working actor. I worked a good amount of jobs every year, like along with my peers. But I never talked about my acting. And
You've
for
been in
6 years,
like just to give people like sex was it Sex Lives of College Girls?
yeah,
Uh,
stuff like that. I
Tender
never
Bar.
talked.
Yeah.
You were really good at your job. Like this whole entire time, I was just surprised by your questions, and I was like surprised, like, wow, you really did your research.
Thank you. Why sometimes people ask you questions and they clearly haven't done like any research or whatever.
No, you're just really good at this. But okay, but going back to the main point is
Hmm.
like, yeah, I never talked about like the work that I've done. I never posted about like my achievements. Uh, and for 6 years, like I was just always around like other directors and other people that are working, and they never asked about like anything I did. And then something my mom got into like she got sepsis, and it really put a new perspective. And basically, I started talking about my work. And my mom's fine now.
That's good.
And it's kind of amazing, like when you start talking about like the things that you've done or the things that you're doing. Like people become a lot more interested in it. I was just too scared to talk about it because I didn't want people to think that I was showing off.
Hmm.
I didn't think people to think that I was bragging because, getting a job in entertainment is so difficult. Um, but it really changed my like career path once I started like being more verbal about it, which is really interesting. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, you did because what you're talking about is having pride. Like you've done good work, right? So when
Yeah.
you've done good work, it's a lot easier to like market and to like share, right? A lot of times people like who put out a book or a podcast or whatever, maybe even work on a film, they find that they have trouble marketing the stuff, especially like say like online social media, right? They're like, I don't want to bother people. I don't want to. But if the interview is good or the book is good or the movie's good, it's like, yo, check this out. I'm in this and I help make this good. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that was awesome, Harrison.
Um, yeah, it's hard because like I still struggle with it because I do my film marketing as well as like a big part of my work, and I do both. But I feel like for the longest time, when people ask me what I did, I'd always lead with film marketing because for whatever reason, I don't know, like it's societal pressures or familial pressures or whatever to be like, this is my stable job and like acting's my part-time hobby, even though it isn't. Like, I've done a lot of work the last however many years, but it's just doesn't evoke as many questions because for whatever reason, like when you say you're an actor, then there's so many follow-up questions like, what have you been on?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are your accomplishments? But like if you say anything else, like I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, no one asks those questions. Like, oh, like who have you like tended to? Or like, where school, like like no
Yeah.
one like automatically assumes anything.
Mm-hmm.
And as an actor, I feel like when you tell people you're an actor, people always assume like, oh, like you just do it for fun or whatever. And it's taking me a while, but like over the last couple of years I started to say in that same sentence, like I'm a film marketer, but I'm also an actor and a filmmaker. um but yeah, it's something I still struggle with. I feel like a lot of it's just, yeah, it's like Asian pride. It's, it's uh ego. It's all of it. It's, yeah, it's tough.
I think sometimes too people don't understand. There's this kind of push for diversity in film, but sometimes depending on which culture you're coming from, people are pushing against that culture. As you said, is there's a little bit of Asian pride. There's like it's sometimes weird for people to take a role or position where you're going to stand out and you have to hog the spotlight, for example. And so I don't think people, when they push for diversity, understand that sometimes culturally it's awkward for people to like step out into the limelight. If you're going to be like an extra or something in the background, that's fine and that's fun, right? And then like maybe you see George Clooney or Julie Roberts or something. But then to actually have roles or scenes with these people or work with these people is like, it can be difficult culturally for some people to overcome that.
Hmm. Yeah, no, 100% agree.
So we will look out for Ivan's poutine experience. Is there going to be like social media where you're going to post your poutine experience and what you actually get, Ivan?
I'm totally down to do that as long as Harrison films it.
Yeah, you know what? Like just because we've talked about it on this interview, we're going to get poutine. I'm going to film it. We're going to post it on our social media, which is at extremely unique dynamic, and we will tag you as well. And this video will be dedicated to you.
My Summer Lair is my IG. So there you go. I will look forward to the poutine experience.
That was really smooth. That was really smooth. I'm so sorry.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. So I'm all right. I'll take that too, right? So I'm doing the same thing too. I'm like Egyptian, right? And there isn't like quote unquote a lot of Egyptian podcasters, right? I'm sure.
That's really
So it's the same thing where like, what Harrison was talking about, where like you do like podcasting, like some of my friends' parents who are obviously a lot older, like, you have a radio show? I'm like, it's not a radio show, it's a podcast. But so you have to do that kind of explaining, or you have to get the whiteboard out and like the felt puppets, and you kind of have to explain what you do. And then you hope for the best. But yeah, so we will look out for the poutine, and we will look out to see with the Canadian tuxedo, or if you choose to do a different outfit for the Inside Out Film Festival at the TIFF Lightbox, which is a great venue. So I'll put the link and all that for the show notes. Thanks, guys, for like hanging out. We covered quite a bit, from Dick Van Dyke to poutine to Canadian tuxedos to Asian stereotypes.
Thank you so much, Sammy. Oh, yo, thank you so much, Sammy. That was really fun, yo.
Yo, that's a good yo. Harrison, you want to drop a yo just to take us out?
Yeah, I'd like to say this was a fucking great interview. I thank you so much for everything. This was fantastic. Had a lot of fun.
Thank you, guys. Yo, that was Ivan and Harrison talking about Extremely Unique Dynamic, which had its international premiere at the 2024 Inside Out Film Festival. I'm Sammy, host of My Summer Lair. You'll be happy to know, if you want closure, Ivan messaged me at IG. I'm at My Summer Lair if you want to follow me. And yes, the brother did try poutine. I provided the boys with a number of recommendations in Toronto where they could score good poutine. He was happy, though he went with the classic poutine. Myself, just a few days ago, I enjoyed a delicious poutine covered in pulled pork and bacon. Oh, son, yo, you better believe there was a nap after that. You know, maybe this is a stoner idea, but there's gotta be a way to get this podcast sponsored by poutine. If not the podcast, then perhaps my newsletter, My Pal Sammy. It's not as tasty as poutine, but it's still tasty. I wonder if that should be like my tagline. That or the classic good gravy. Good gravy is classic grandpa cuss words. Where was I talking about? Oh, the newsletter. Yeah, I gotta finish this plug. Sorry. Feel free to sign up mysummerlair.com/subscribe. You can read about my extremely unique dynamic there. mysummerlair.com/subscribe. We can talk about poutine. Thank you for listening to me in a Netflix world. Poutine, yo.